Welcome to your personalized deep dive. We're taking you on a trip this time to the future,
That's fun.
to the year 2025 to be exact. And you know what's huge in 2025?
Let me guess. Flying cars.
Haha, close. It's artificial intelligence. AI is everywhere in 2025.
Yeah, AI was blowing up back in 2023, too, when we're recording this. It's only going to get bigger.
Exactly. AI is going to be impacting everything. Jobs, the global economy, you name it.
Everything.
And don't worry, listeners, we're going to break it all down for you. All the biggest trends without getting too technical.
That's right. No one wants to be drowning in jargon.
For example, imagine this. It's 2025, you wake up, you make some coffee, and...
Check your phone?
Nope, not even. You ask your AI assistant.
Oh, like an Alexa or something?
Yeah, exactly like that, to give you a summary of all the important news headlines.
That's wild. Like, it just reads them to you.
You can read them, yeah, or even, summarize them for you, give you the key points.
That sounds pretty convenient.
Right, that's just a taste of what 2025 is like. And to really dive into all this AI stuff, we've got our expert here.
Happy to be here.
What's crazy is that we're not talking about some distant future. The AI revolution is N now W.
Yeah, it really is. And there are three huge AI technologies that are changing the game.
Okay, so hit me with it. What are these game changers?
Okay, so first up, we've got generative AI 2.0.
2.0. So is that like an upgraded version of something?
Exactly. You remember all the hype a couple years ago about AI that can write articles, create art?
Yeah, like ChatGPT and DALL-E and all that.
Right. Well, generative AI 2.0 is like that stuff, BUT on steroids. Like imagine GPT-5 and beyond, so advanced that they're totally revolutionizing entire industries, like think legal writing or marketing.
So like AI lawyers and marketers.
Basically, like imagine legal documents that are written with crazy speed and are super accurate, or marketing campaigns that are perfectly targeted to you based on like your preferences and everything.
That's pretty mind-blowing, but also a little scary, right? Like what happens to all the human lawyers and marketers?
Oh yeah, we're definitely going to talk about those implications later.
Okay, good. So what's game changer number 2?
Okay, this one might sound like it's straight out of Star Trek, but I promise it's real. Quantum AI.
Quantum AI. All right, you're going to have to break that down for me.
So basically, it's all about using quantum mechanics to do calculations at speeds that are just insane, like way faster than any regular computer.
Okay, so like imagine the fastest computer you can think of, and then multiply that by like 1,000,000.
Yeah, something like that. And what this means is that research that used to take years and years in fields like drug discovery or financial modeling can now be done in months.
This is like having a superpower for your brain. You can suddenly think 1,000,000 times faster.
Exactly. It's going to revolutionize so many industries.
Okay, so 2, down 1 to go. What's the last big AI game changer?
This one is all about robots, specifically humanoid robots.
So like robots that look like humans? Like in the movies?
Yeah, kind of. We're not quite at the point where robots are taking over the world, but companies like Tesla and Boston Dynamics are already using robots that can do all kinds of work, especially in manufacturing.
Wait, so you're telling me there are actually robots working in factories right now?
Yep. And they're getting more advanced all the time. Like, picture robots that can assemble tiny parts or work with dangerous materials, or robots that can work 24/7 without needing a break.
Okay, that's impressive, but also kind of freaking me out. So what does all of this mean for the economy? Like, is this AI boom actually a good thing, or is it all just hype?
Yeah, the numbers don't lie. AI added a crazy amount of money to the global economy in 2025.
How much are we talking?
$2.1 trillion. That's not just some made-up number either. It's real growth driven by AI, think increased efficiency, productivity, and all that. And it's impacting pretty much every industry.
All right, so we're talking real money here, real impact. Can you give me some specifics, like how is this playing out in different sectors?
Sure. So take manufacturing, for example. We're seeing productivity gains of up to 35% thanks to all this AI stuff, like automation and optimization.
35%, that's huge.
Yeah, it's a big deal. And then in healthcare, AI is streamlining processes, improving diagnosis, and even personalizing treatments. We're seeing a 28% jump in productivity there.
Okay, those are some impressive numbers, but it's obvious that this much disruption is going to have some downsides too. Like what happens to the people whose jobs are being taken over by robots?
That's the million-dollar question, right? And it's something that everyone is wondering about. It's a bit of a scary thought, isn't it?
It is. Are robots like coming for all our jobs? Is that what we're talking about here?
Well, it's not that straightforward. Yeah, some jobs are being replaced by automation, But the important thing is that AI is also creating brand new jobs, jobs that we didn't even know existed a few years ago.
Okay, so it's not just job losses, but also job creation. Interesting. What kind of jobs are we talking about?
Well, think about it.
Mhm.
Someone needs to design those robots that are working in the factories,
Oh, right.
and someone needs to build them and maintain them. That's where jobs like robot maintenance engineer come in.
I guess that makes sense.
And then you've got AI making decisions that affect people's lives, right?
Yeah, like what kind of decisions?
Like in healthcare or finance or even in the justice system.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's a lot of responsibility.
Exactly. So now we have these AI ethics officers to make sure that the AI is making fair and unbiased decisions. And then we've got all this data everywhere,
And
right?
data is like the new gold or something.
Exactly. So we need people who can understand all that data and make sense of it. Data literacy experts, they're called. These are just a few examples of the new jobs that are popping up because of AI.
Okay, so there's hope for us humans after all.
Hmm.
But are these new AI jobs actually good jobs? Like, can people who are losing their old jobs actually make a living doing this new stuff?
Oh, they're not just good jobs, they're great jobs. Some of them are paying like $150,000 a year or even more.
Wow, seriously?
Yeah. Companies are desperate for people with these skills and they're willing to pay big bucks.
So it's like supply and demand. Low supply of AI experts, high demand equals big salaries.
You got it.
That's pretty encouraging. But how realistic is it for people to actually make that switch? Like, can a factory worker just become a data scientist overnight?
Well, no, it's definitely not easy. It takes time and effort and training, and that's where governments and companies need to help out.
So, like, provide training programs and stuff?
Exactly. They need to invest in upskilling and retraining their workforce.
Makes sense. Are there any examples of companies doing this well? Like actually helping their workers transition to these new AI jobs?
Yeah, there are. Siemens in Germany is a great example. They've put a ton of money into retraining their workers for AI-related roles, like 50,000 employees.
Whoa, 50,000. That's a lot of people.
Yeah, they're focusing on things like robot maintenance,
Hmm.
AI-driven manufacturing, all that kind of stuff.
That's pretty amazing. Did it work? Like, did it actually help them?
It totally did.
Hmm.
Not only did they save money because their factories became more efficient, but they also kept all their valuable employees.
Yeah,
And those employees now have the skills they need to thrive in this new world.
that's a win-win for sure. But I'm curious, is this something that every country can do? Like, is this AI revolution benefiting everyone equally around the world? Or are some countries getting left behind?
That's a really important question. And the truth is that there are definitely winners and losers when it comes to AI.
Okay, so tell me more about that. What does this AI divide look like?
Well, the U.S. and the European Union are in a pretty good spot. They're investing tons of money in AI research and development. They're creating these whole ecosystems that encourage innovation.
So they're like the leaders in the AI race.
Yeah, pretty much. Like
Right.
the EU has this initiative called AI Made in Europe, where they're training hundreds of thousands of workers in AI.
So they're really taking it seriously.
Yeah, they know that this is the future. What about developing nations? How are they doing?
Yeah, what about them?
Well, it's kind of a mixed bag. Some countries are doing really well, using AI to boost their economy and make things better for their people,
Oh, really? Like who?
like Pakistan, for example. They're actually facing some tough times in their traditional industries, like textiles. But they're seeing a ton of growth in tech jobs, especially in AI and data science.
So they're kind of leapfrogging ahead in some ways.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
They've trained a whole new generation of tech workers who are ready to compete globally.
That's really inspiring. Are there other examples like that? Other developing countries that are using AI to their advantage?
For sure. Look at Nigeria. They've got all these AI-powered fintech platforms that are changing the game for financial inclusion.
Fintech? What's that?
It's like financial technology.
Mhm.
Basically, these platforms are using AI to help people who don't have access to traditional banking services.
So they're like giving more people access to financial tools.
Exactly. It's
Yeah.
making a huge difference in people's lives.
That's awesome. But you said it was a mixed bag, right? So what about the countries that aren't doing so well? What's holding them back?
Well, the biggest problem for a lot of developing countries is infrastructure. They just don't have the resources to support widespread AI adoption.
Like what kind of infrastructure?
Like basic things like reliable internet access
Yeah.
or access to computers and digital literacy programs. A lot of people in these countries are being left behind because they just don't have the tools they need
Yeah.
to participate in this new digital economy.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's like trying to run a marathon without any shoes.
Exactly.
Mhm.
And then there's also the issue of government policies. Some countries just aren't doing enough to create an environment that's friendly to AI development and investment.
So it's not just about technology, it's also about politics and policy.
Absolutely. It's a complex issue with a lot of moving parts. But even with all these challenges, the AI revolution is still moving forward at an incredible pace.
It is. And it's making us ask some really tough questions about how we control and regulate this powerful technology.
Yeah, that's the next big hurdle.
It feels like we've opened up a whole can of worms here. We can't just talk about jobs and the economy without thinking about the ethics of it
You're
all.
absolutely right. That's the next big conversation we need to have.
Yeah, it feels like we're in this whole new world where like the rules are changing every day.
It's exciting,
Mhm.
but yet a little scary too, right?
Totally. It's like we have this super powerful tool, but we're still figuring out how to use it properly.
That's a great analogy.
Yeah.
AI is a tool just like any other, and it can be used for good or bad. It really depends on us.
Smart us.
Yeah, on the choices we make, the values we prioritize, and the rules we put in place.
So how do we make sure that AI is used for good? Where do we even begin with something this big?
Well, we have to remember that AI isn't some separate thing. It's a reflection of us, our values, our biases, our society.
Mhm.
So if we want ethical AI, we need to fix the ethical problems we already have.
So it's not just about the technology itself, it's about us.
Exactly. We need to be asking tough questions about how AI is being developed and used and controlled.
Yeah.
Like who's making the decisions? Who benefits? Who's being left out?
Those are important questions.
They are. And we need to be having open and honest conversations about these things.
It feels like we're all kind of figuring this out together, like it's a huge experiment.
We are. And the key is to work together. Technologists, policymakers, ethicists, everyday people. We need everyone's input.
Okay, so what can we do as individuals? Like, how can we prepare for this AI future?
Well, first of all, learn about it. The more you understand AI, the better prepared you'll be.
So read books, take online courses, stuff like that.
Exactly. And don't be afraid to ask questions. Challenge assumptions. Speak up if you have concerns. We all have a role to play in shaping this.
So it's not about just watching it happen, it's about being a part of it.
Exactly. And as we do this, let's keep a few key things in mind. First, transparency. We need to know how AI is making decisions, and those decisions need to be clear and accountable.
So no more black boxes.
Right. Second, fairness. AI systems need to be fair, equitable, unbiased. We don't want AI making things worse, right?
Yeah, we need to make sure it doesn't just reinforce the problems we already have.
Exactly. And that brings us to diversity and inclusion. We need people from all backgrounds involved in developing AI to make sure it works for everyone.
Makes sense.
And finally, responsibility. We all have a responsibility to use AI ethically and for the benefit of society. Think about the long-term consequences of what we're doing.
It's like a whole new way of thinking about technology.
It is. And it's a shift that requires us to move past all the hype and fear surrounding AI and really think critically about its potential and its risks.
So what's next? What does the future hold for AI?
Honestly, the future's still being written. We're writing it right now. But I'm optimistic. If we approach AI thoughtfully, collaboratively, and responsibly, I think we can create a future where AI helps us solve our biggest problems, makes the world a better place.
That's a future I can get behind.
Me too. And remember, listener, you're part of this story too. So what role do you want to play? What excites you about AI? What worries you? What can you do to make sure AI is a force for good in your community and in the world?
Those are good questions to think about.
They are. And I believe that by asking these questions and talking openly and honestly, we can shape the future of AI together.
Well, that about wraps up our deep dive into the world of AI automation in 2025.
It was a fascinating journey, wasn't it?
It really was. We saw how AI is changing everything from our jobs to the global economy, and we talked about the ethical challenges we need to address.
And most importantly, we saw how we can all be a part of shaping this future.
That's right. The future of AI is up to all of us. So let's keep learning, keep exploring, and keep creating. Thanks for listening.
Thanks, everyone.